Conservatives are getting people fired from their jobs and then saying, well, no, this isn't cancel culture. We just think that it's irresponsible of a company to employ someone who has this lack of inner morality. It's like, what do you think cancel culture is? It's like, no, this isn't anti-free speech, because that would be throwing someone in jail. We just think that people need to see consequences when they say things that we deem harmful, that we deem irresponsible. Which, like, first of all, some of you do think people need to be thrown in jail for their opinions, right? This person tagged the literal FBI director in my comments on a video where I did not applaud or celebrate Charlie Kirk's death in any way. I was talking about how Charlie Kirk was far right, and there are people farther to the right of him, but that doesn't make him not far right. That just makes them farther right. But second of all, that's the fucking point. That's what we've been saying all along when it comes to cancel culture. This is an example of a larger trend that conservatives only care about stuff when it affects them personally. An example being Charlie Kirk's literal death. People to the left are saying, yeah, we don't want this kind of violence to happen. We don't want gun violence. That's why we need stricter gun control laws. And then conservatives are like, oh, it's so sad. He had a family. He's a human. That's what we've been saying about kids in schools, about trans people, about Palestinian kids, about white supremacy leading to more harm for non-white people. This is so calloused because there's never an acknowledgement that the people celebrating this probably experienced, if not someone very close to them, experienced harm as a result of this man's words. Well, Charlie Kirk wasn't out there pulling the trigger himself or even directly calling for violence. He was demonizing and dehumanizing groups of people that leads to more violence towards those people. Another word for that is stochastic terrorism. That's why people are celebrating. They're celebrating because a white supremacist is dead. If it was the leader of the KKK, that's a white supremacist. Much more people would be celebrating that. That doesn't mean people want this kind of violence to happen. Most people on the left are saying, we don't want this kind of violence. This doesn't accomplish anything. You've removed the human, but you haven't removed that human's ideas. And yet you're willing to partake in cancel culture because you don't like what they're saying. So, like, if you're mourning this death and this violence because he's a human and he had a family and all this stuff, but you're not talking about the harm and violence that he caused to marginalized communities, that tells us that you don't care unless it's towards one of your own, unless it's towards a conservative, unless it's towards a cis, straight, white, Christian, conservative man. And that matters because we care about that violence as well. We just also care about when it affects people outside of that group.